Welcome back to another episode of Simply Robotics, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. This week, y'all are finally getting the episode I have been wanting for y'all for a long time. So long story short, over the summer of 2020, the year whose name shall not be spoken, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then towards the end of the summer, I watched The Legend of Korra, and I couldn't think of better people to have on this episode than my two friends, Jen and Marcus, who, as we get into the episode, they're no strangers to the show. And throughout watching Avatar and Legend of Korra, I was texting them like crazy. I was going through the motions, and those were the two people that I knew. Well, first off, they loved this both shows so much that it only felt right to have them. So I knew that they would be able to help me in that time watching the shows, but also would make great guests for this episode. So I'm not going to hold you any longer. Let's get into the show. So I have my guests, Jen and Marcus, here with me, and I'm not going to waste everyone's time with an interview because Jen, she was on the third episode of this show, which was great before I had any form of structure or anything. And I was just doing podcast stuff. And Marcus was on episode 16 where we talked about The Great Mouse Detective. Yes. So I brought both of you here today because both of you guys are I say, super mega fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. And when I watched it for the first time this summer, I was texting both of you through all my feelings. And it just made sense for me to bring you both together. So I guess I'll actually start off with saying, why do you guys love this show so much? And did you watch it when it originally aired?
Well, I watched it. Yeah, sorry. I was let's go. I first watched it when it first came out. I guess I was 14 or 15 at the time. And I remember accidentally tuning in for the world premiere of it, because I just happened to be watching Nickelodeon at the time, and I was just what is this anime looking shit? That's I was so confused. And then I literally in the opening scene, Katara calls Sokka sexist, and I was just can they say that on Nickelodeon? What is this show? What, we're doing anime now? Okay. And for me, what drew me to it was, honestly, the same thing that drew me to actual Japanese animation was, it's so rare to find American cartoons that have a continuing storyline and story arcs and characters that actually change over the course of seasons. So for me, as just someone who really only watched animation, this was just something I was so I didn't know how much I was craving it. And then as I've gotten older, I can appreciate its nuances so much more. And when I look at it, it's the kind of thing that it's oh, I want to make things like that. That's when I think about trying to be a writer, trying to tell stories. This is for me a benchmark thing that's motivated me most of my life at this point. Yeah.
Should not have let Jen go on first. How am I supposed to follow that? So my story was a little different. I happened to wake up on a Sunday afternoon and was what's this on the TV? Yes. I fell asleep watching SpongeBob. I woke up to, I think the last 5 minutes of the first episode. So I was the hell? And I've just found a way to watch it again. And I just was no, this is interesting. And what really sold me was Zuko. I was all here for the angst and I got to get my honor back. That's what really sucked me in. I was I like him. He has a motive. He's going places. So that's what really sucked me in. Him and Sokka. Those were the two people that sucked me in.
I can I can now appreciate both of those people. When this first came out, I was not interested because I don't like anime visually. So I was this is horrible. This is Americanized anime. I'm definitely not watching this. And then now, 15 years later, I'm okay, everyone is still really hyped about this. I should probably watch it so I can understand why. And I do. And I also wonder what it would have been like watching it as a 15-year-old also.
It was very emotional times. It was very emotional. And it felt like it was kind of niche at the same time because not a lot of people was really talking about it while in my circle. So I would be like, oh, y'all should watch this. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, fine, I don't need you. I'll watch it myself.
Oh, yeah, no. It was like, for me, we were at an age where it was like very uncool to watch cartoons still. And it was even more taboo to watch like anime. So I had this thing and I had like no one to talk to about it for a really long time. And then when I went to college, I met friends who everybody was like, loved this show. And I was like, oh, finally. And there was, to be fair, there was an anime club at my high school and it was like just that small little room where like we could talk about it. But it was just like this amazing thing. And I was just like, no one will watch this because it's a cartoon and that's ridiculous. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So we're going to go through the journey of all the books of not only Avatar, but also, Aang's Avatar, but Korra's Avatar as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start off with book 1 from Avatar, The Last Airbender. And you guys can take turns on who goes first, but we'll all share about like your favorite moments. And I said least favorite moments, but it could also just be like, it's not as good of a moment, you know, depending how critiquey you want to be. So yeah, book 1 was Water, and go for it.
I'll go first this time. So as I said, I was all here for, I got to look at my notes. I was all here for Zuko's teen angst. So when I seen the episode where General Zhao caught Aang and Zuko was like, yeah, nah, screw that. If I'm not getting him, nobody's getting him. And the blue mask came on and he broke Aang out just so the other guy so he couldn't say he had him. That's when I was like, oh, I love that. That was like the peak of the book 1 for me. And the low was The Great Divide. I hated that episode. Like, okay, tell most people. Of my, like on my notes, I'm just letting you know, on my notes, most of my hates are like the filler episodes. Some of the filler episodes are terrible. Yeah. But The Great Divide is where they're supposed to be trying to get through this path and they have to go through this tunnel and they had their their recycled version of the Hatfield and McCoys and Aang had to try to bring them together and all. I just was like, oh my God, I hate this. I was like, if y'all could just, the Fire Nation could come and just kill all of them and I truly would not have I wouldn't miss a beat. It'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, so literally the one on mine is literally I just wrote The Great Divide. Like
that's what I did
for
too.
The same reason.
It was just like such a there. I feel like there's not a lot of like true filler in Avatar. Like there are that definitely like scale more towards filler, but The Great Divide is like truly the worst. Like it's just. It doesn't add anything. It's frustrating. The conclusion, like there's all the setups they have, like there's no actual payoff. Like it's just like, what happened, guys? Like they just dropped the ball in that one episode and like they're allowed it. And like my friends and I on our podcast, we were like trying to be constructive about it. And it's like, it's also just a little unfair because this show has so many amazing episodes and moments and things. So it's like their worst thing. Like you're also just gonna be that much more harsh, but it's just like, it's so frustrating.
So like my like low moment is super childish now compared to y'all. Because my moment was like I don't like Jet because I don't like how he was toying with Katara. So Jet was like Katara's like fake love interest type of thing. Like she had a crush on him, and he just had his own, thing that he was trying to get revenge or like that's not the word revenge, but what's the word?
Maybe, but like
avenge, not revenge. It's avenge. His people. I think it was his parents or something that got killed by the Fire Nation. Yeah. So yeah, he was just being manipulative, and I didn't like him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I feel like for me, it's been interesting having watched the show, and like it's not like I hadn't watched it since I was 15. Like I've seen, like they used to have rerun it all the time, but then now as like a 31-year-old. Like, it's been interesting where it's like, I feel like with back then, like I had very different feelings about Jet and then now I'm like a lot more conflicted because I was like, there's so much bad things in his life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you don't understand where he's coming from either, but I was just like, I'm like that. Like for me, like the only other least favorite, like I can't think of anything, but like there are times where like Sokka would annoy me. But it's like not enough that it's like a least favorite. Like, and like Sokka was one of those characters when I was a kid, he annoyed the crap out of me. Like I did not like him at all. I was like, he's annoying. Like I just never liked those kind of like funny guy characters. And then as an adult, I'm just like, oh, like, I love you. Like, what is happening? Like, but he's still sometimes annoying, but like, that's also his character a little bit. So it's fine.
Did you mention like one of your favorite moments from book one?
Oh, I feel like one of my favorites, I guess broadly speaking, is like the storm, like just that whole episode. So the storm, that's the episode where we learn like Zuko's backstory with the Agni Kai. And then we learn like Aang's story of learning he was the Avatar at a really young age, and then like getting scared and fleeing, and then getting trapped in the ice. And I feel like I appreciate that this show can have an episode like that. That's like, there's not really action in this episode too much. Like, it's like kind of a slower burn episode. And it's like all this like exposition and backstory. And like, I feel like this show took so many, not risks, but they feel like risks, like knowing how a lot of cartoons treat like kids' attention spans and like ability to perceive things, where it's like that episode, it's like so much happens, and it's where it's like that's like the one that sums it up really well.
I like the storm was really good.
I had learning about the Hiyoshi warriors as being one of my favorite moments, and also about like Avatar Roku. Yeah, just because I think that was the beginning of just learning about other avatars, and I was like, oh, well, this is like an interesting concept, you know, and just like the backstory. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I was like, I'm after watching everyone, like seeing everybody watching for the first time and learning that Avatar Kyoshi has this ever-growing fan club, to the point where I saw she was trending on Twitter one day. I said, did they announce a Kyoshi spinoff? Oh no, y'all just love her. I was like, she didn't get that much screen time for this amount of love. And it's just like so interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was like, I want to say like the heartless Avatar, right?
Yeah, she was so badass.
She was about her shit.
Yeah. I was just like, surely you didn't kill this person, and she's like, yes, I did. Like, you can deal with it.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, we gonna get to that because that's on my list too.
Moving to book 2, which is Earth, what were some of your favorite and least favorite moments from that season?
I mean, the obvious is like Toph's introduction, like just that one scene where she does like the metal detecting for the first time, and just like how cool she is and how unexpected she is as a character.
Yeah.
So, like Toph, like, and then for me, I love it's dumb, but it's like the secret tunnel song. like that is like a song that I have sung for years, and now I'm like, now more people will understand.
Where are you coming from with it?
Yeah.
What about least favorite moment?
Oh man, I feel like, you know, it was hard for me. And to be fair, I haven't even gotten fully through book 2 yet, because I've been rewatching it along with my Avatar podcast. But it was hard for me to come up with a least favorite moment, because it's like season 2 is so solid. I guess for me, it's kind of just like some of the earlier episodes in the beginning where it's like Avatar Day is like annoying. The Avatar State is annoying. The swamp, I like have mixed feelings about, where it's like some of those that are just like kind of like filler, like we were saying at the start of book 2. So, but I feel like it's more because I know how many hits are going to be in season 2 that I'm like, just get to the good stuff, get to like get to Zuko alone, get to Tales of Ba Sing Se, get to Appa's Lost Days. Like, what are you doing?
How about you, Marcus?
So my favorite moment, she just mentioned it, Tales of Ba Sing Se is like my favorite episode of that whole season, because just Iroh's story alone, every time I watch it, I get sad. Then when he plays the song in the hill for his son, what is it, Soldier Boy or something like that? Yeah. Like I tear up every time I watch that. Of course, Toph, like you have to shout her out, because she's like the star of that whole season, especially when she starts trying to teach Aang how to earthbend, all that, Sokka getting stuck in the crack, all of that, like all of that, just Toph. I have to give her that. Least favorite, and has been consistent since I was like 15, 16. I can't. It's not even like, it's just one specific moment. The library. That guy pretty much consigned himself to die to read books. Yeah. I couldn't understand it then. I don't understand it now. I understand that, like, you want knowledge, but you're just
Yeah.
And Aang just left him there to die. I was like, that's, you should, I just didn't understand it, but.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh my God. I forgot that guy's name, but it's like, the owl, Wang Shitan. And it's like the nerdy scholar joins them. Right? Yeah. And then he stays there.
Yeah, they was like, come on, let's go. He's like, no, I'm going to just stay here and read my books. I'm like, the sand is going to kill you. You're not going to read these books.
Yeah.
Didn't even care.
Yeah, and then actually, now that you said that, they show his skeleton in Korra.
Yeah,
yes.
they do.
Which further reminded me and annoyed me when I was like 19. I was like, are you serious? So he died.
He did. I had one. It's not really like a low moment, but it's they introduced Azula in book 2.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
bitch.
This girl's crazy.
No, that's bad. No, that's bad bitch energy right there. She came on the screen. They had to change the whole music for her. I was like, oh, nah, I fuck with Azula.
No, and it's just like she's always been crazy. She's always been like that. And I remember being like very stressed. I mean, if you're listening or watching this is going to be a very spoiler-filled episode. So when Azula zaps Aang, like towards the end as he's in his avatar state, like I was stressed out. I was like, why is she such a hater? Like, come on. But she's very thorough. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy that she shot him. I was so happy because, to be real with you, when the monk was trying to tell him, hey, you have to let go of your earthly possessions to become the Avatar. I'm like, you're here for a purpose. Let her go, get the power, and then find a way to make it work. It's not like you have to let her out your life. You're going to see her again. So when he did all that little time to come out of it, I'm like, you're not going to, this isn't Dragon Ball Z. They're not going to let you power up in the fight. Like, I was like, please shoot him. Shoot. And then when she shot him, I was like, yes, thank you.
No, absolutely
I need consequences. Not. Don't be dumb in the middle of a fight.
No, I was stressed. I was like, this chill.
I wanted Zuko to take Katara up on her offer of like healing his face. I wanted that for my friend. I was like, I need him to get that scar taken care of.
Oh no, not for that reason though. I just wanted to see what it would do. Like if it would actually work in like removing all of it or some of it or something. But then we will keep it moving to the final book, book 3, which was Fire. What were some of your favorite and least favorite moments?
Marcus, you want to start?
Oh. All right. So I got a lot of favorites here.
I wanted to throw my phone this whole season. I remember that.
This is actually my favorite season.
Oh yeah.
The Sokka Master episode when he gets I can't think of the word. Yeah, the space sword. Loved it, especially the part where he was like, "Oh, you're not from Fire Nation," so he just starts fighting Sokka all through the complex. He's losing his shit. Like all of the episodes where, like, I feel like season 3 was book 3 really focused in on like, okay, everyone else had growth. Let's show Sokka's growth. So all of the episodes that really showed that were the ones that I really stood out to me, and I like that a lot. Like following that, the Boiling Rock episode, I think that was the best, like Zuko with Team Avatar adventure out of all of them. Katara's was up there. It's like a close second, but Boiling Rock was like, I finally get to see Sokka and Zuko bounce off of each other. Like one that's super serious, and then he's a clown. And eventually Zuko started making stupid jokes too. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
You're right.
So that, and also, like I said from earlier, when Aang starts talking to the different avatars, and Kyoshi pretty much tells him, like, bro, you're just going to have to kill him. I don't know what else to tell you. And then leaves. When I tell you I laughed, like you said earlier, you didn't really kill him. No, I killed him. Get it done. And then she just leaves. I was like, wait. But those were my favorites.
Yeah.
And least favorite, again, filler. I did not like Ember Island players. Did not like it.
Oh my God, that's like one of the best recap episodes in the history of television.
Quick pause. Let me double back. I liked where Zuko and Azula and they went to the island where they their vacation villa.
Yeah.
I like that because you got more of a background on Azula and like her crew. So that I like that. That was one of my favorites too. Well, back to Ember Island players, didn't like it. Didn't like it because at that point I'm geared up like, oh, we about to get Ozai, it's game time, and I turn on TV. What, a filler? I was pissed. was
not to jump ahead, but like compared to the Korra recap episode, the clip show, it was literally a clip show. Like that, like, embarrassing that happened. Like that was, I was like, what happened? What happened to the butt? Like something happened, like production wise, and they did clips like that. Like
when I was doing preparation for this, I read it that's exactly what was happening. Nickelodeon cut the budget, so they made a clip episode. Because they were like, they clipped the budget by one episode. So that's kind of what they did.
Nickelodeon was out. We're going to talk about Korra because Nickelodeon was out to sabotage my girl. I will not stand for it. I was pissed.
Yeah, it's like that. But let me think. I'm not good at thinking about like specific things I didn't like about season 3.
Well, tell us what you liked first.
Yeah, it's like hard. I mean, I loved, there were so many, like there were a lot of fun Katara moments, the whole Painted Lady episode, the Southern Raiders, like her freezing the rain and like with that guy, like her Zuko revenge plot, the bloodbending episode. Is that this season? Yeah. Like, I love that episode. I love.
I have that as one of the episodes I wasn't crazy about.
Oh, the bloodbending.
I wasn't, because it was spooky.
Yeah.
It was on the spooky side. And I didn't like, how she like basically manipulated Katara into learning bloodbending. It was like, damn, like she had no choice but to do it.
Yeah. But like she has a very valuable skill now. Like,
yeah, but that's not technically she's not supposed to pass that on because it could be abused.
She made that choice. I mean, lightning bending is abusive if you shoot it at somebody too.
And the Fire Nation passed it down. They do that.
Yeah. So I feel like that's like we could debate that, but like I get what you're saying. I loved Aang going to the school. And like meeting all these like very innocent kids that were just so propagandaed at, you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, this is hold a mirror up. Like, I mean, it's just like there's so much. I guess if there's something I don't like, it's not that I don't like. I feel like the lion turtle plot point is like I love it and it's really cool, but it is a little bit of like a Deus Ex Machina. Like it is sort of like this thing that comes out of left field and saves the day. And I have no solution to how they could have set something up where he could have learned that, you know, in like a satisfying way early enough. So like I can't fault. Like, I love it. I'm not like, but I'm like, that's like kind of something. But also like. That's also part of life, is just like things that are out of your control too. So like I can't fault it, but I'm like, like that was a little bit like out of left field. But it's super badass. So like it's fine.
I can agree with that. I would have rather that like an old Avatar would have taught him or something like that, than a random talking lion turtle. And then everyone just acted like, oh yeah, you found a lion turtle. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, Aang. And I'm like, he's random, but like that's very random. Like even for him, right?
We're approaching Goku level random of where it's like, oh yeah, I learned how to teleport from some aliens. I'm like, what?
You guys are silly. I had one of my favorite moments where Zuko is learning about Avatar Roku and the connection between like the Fire Lord or whatever, and just like how his conflictions as a being, you know, it's before he was even born, all this stuff was happening or cycling. I thought that was very deep, and just ultimately just like, you know, Zuko's arc. Like by the end of it, I was just like, oh man, like I want so much for Zuko, this character that I really didn't like in the beginning, because I was like, why are you going so hard? Like, calm down. And then I'm like, oh man, you're just hurt. Yeah, you just need someone to talk to.
I feel like
you need a couple hugs.
To your point, something that I wish had happened. I wish that the plot with his mom. Like, and again, it doesn't make sense though, so I get why they didn't put it. But I feel like as far as the show goes, as like a self-contained thing, like rapping, like something more with his mom would have been nice. But I also get that would have happened like way after, and like I don't think they would have done like a 5 months later like little thing just for that. And I know like the comics cover a lot of stuff too.
Well, what do you mean something more with his mom?
Well, it's like literally like it ends. He's just like, you know, he visits Ozai in prison and he's just like, where's my mother? And then like that whole thing never gets resolved. And it was such a huge part of his character. And it was such a huge part of Azula's breakdown as well. So for that to not be actually, like, it was set up really well, and then for it to not actually, like, end in the show is, like, sad. Just, like, in terms of it being, like, just, like, a full, complete, like, book set, I guess, where it's, like, all the there's still open chapters for these characters. And, of course, there always will be, but, like, that was, like, the one where I'm like, oh, we never find that out. Like,
they pretty much hit us with The Sopranos. It's like, as soon as the person was about to walk through the door and scream black, you'd be like, no, what? And then I finally, like, and to piggyback off of you, I finally read the comic of what happened to his mom. And I was like, this would have been amazing to see animated. I would have loved to have seen this. Especially like the struggle he goes through where he stops talking to, what's his name? The Avatar right before him. Roku. When he like severs his ties with Roku, all of that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. Monique, you have to.
Yeah, I have to find the comics so I can read them.
Really yeah. Your library, my library has like all of them. Your library probably has them too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a different conversation. What happened?
Also, I was about to say also, could we all agree that season 3 made Katara broken? Like, I feel like she can't be beat by anyone at this point.
Like overpowered. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because when you said on bloodbending, like every time I really think about it, I'm like, she could probably kill Aang if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, as we can see in Korra, bloodbending is very effective on the Avatar. It's super effective.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk about your least favorite moments yet, Marcus? For book 3?
No.
Yeah, Ember Island players. Remember, I was very straightforward. That's all I had.
And you made Jen like almost break herself.
Because I was like, oh wait, what could it possibly? Oh, right, this.
So yeah, let's pivot into Legend of Korra. The book 1 is Air. Favorite, least favorite moments.
I love the modern, like the MMA inspired bending that they did. Like, I get if that was like, I'm guessing as like a former animation production management person, a little bit of me is like, oh, they probably like did not get like that same Avatar budget to have those crazy like fights from like the first series. So like that was like a little bit of like a smart way to reinvent it, was to like have it be more modern in boxing. And like, so I really like that. But then it was kind of sad that no one really had really distinct fighting styles at the same time. Like that was something that I really loved in the first one, like as someone that likes like kung fu movies and wuxia movies and stuff. So like I missed that, but like it was cool to see the new stuff, but I wished it was a little bit more unique. And then something else I disliked was, and I've heard like very different reasons for this, but it's like how abrupt, season 1 ends. Mm-hmm. And as much as again, it felt like the same thing with the Lion Turtle, where it kind of felt like, we have this set up for this like amazing thing, especially with Korra, like there was a setup for like a whole other arc of story and character growth for her. And then like Aang kind of pops in and it's like, boop, there's your bending back. And I was just like, but also it was nice to see Aang. It was nice to see her go into the Avatar state. I feel like I used to see a story that it was like Korra had only been greenlit for 1 season, and that was why it had to be like self-contained. But then I've heard like different, I don't know if that's like 100% true or not. It feels like it for sure, but I've heard like conflicting things. So I don't actually know what the deal was with that. But it was like, that could have been like a whole thing of like her, like trying to, just like deal with all of those issues that she was left like at the end of season 1, like so depowered with. But like
I kind of feel like every season feels like they weren't sure if there was going to be one after it. Yeah. Like, they are all very, very contained.
Yeah. So like I don't fault them for it, and I still liked how Korra 1 ended, because it was still satisfying as like an Avatar fan. But I was just like, oh, there was so much potential there. But I feel like that's like Korra in a nutshell.
Marcus.
We don't take too kind to Korra slander over here, man. All right. Whoa. No, I mean, book 1, my favorite moment, honestly, from the moment she came on the screen, I was like, oh, okay, because of course we all wanted to see a continuation of Aang, and I feel like her coming on the screen was a big middle finger to all of us, where she was like punched through the walls, like, I'm the Avatar, you got to deal with it. I was like, I respect what y'all are trying to do. It doesn't make me happy, but I get it.
Yeah.
I like Tenzin. I like the fact that he's like this ultra serious person that everyone around him clowns him for it.
Yeah.
Like no one, he's ultra serious and no one takes him serious, especially like Milo.
Yeah.
Especially him.
Milo's wild.
I liked all the Aang flashbacks. Of course, we got to see Aang. I got to see Toph. I got to see Sokka. He's also on my least favorite moment because we didn't get more of Sokka. I don't know what happened to him. Where's his family?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Sokka had all these girls on his line and he ain't have no kids. There's no one knows where any of Sokka's kids is at. Like,
no,
come on,
that
bro.
was all ridiculous. Every other character, like, either was still alive or had, like, enough that you were like, okay, fine. And, like, Sokka just got completely shafted.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that Katara got regulated to the one thing she said she didn't want to become, which was just like the grandma healer at the hut. She said she never wanted to become that. And y'all just, she's going to be this now. Like, wait, what? So we threw out all this character. That upset me. And it's funny, when you said the pro bending, you liked it. I didn't like it. And it's for the reasons you said, because it was like, everyone had the same fighting style. There was nothing distinct. There was nothing like setting them apart. Yeah. So it was like, okay, she's gonna lose this one. They're gonna win this one. Like when they was like, oh, we gotta do the championship. I was like, they're gonna win they're gonna win this. I'm not. It was just like a way. I was like, let's get back more to like what's going on. Why can't she learn the spirit, like the air bending and all of that? That was also a plus too, because I like the fact that she actually struggled because she came in with 3. I was like, okay, so this isn't gonna be interesting. She knows 3 of them already. She's going to get air out of nothing. So that was another thing I liked. And everything else you disliked, we were on the same page with. I didn't like that out of nowhere. Aang just came, like you said, whoop, here's everything back. Try not to mess up again. Like, I was like, no, you don't come out of here with your beard and just give powers back all willy-nilly. I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah. The lion turtle, they said you could give powers back.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
funny. I said that I like just seeing Aang and Katara's family and kind of just like, how they have kids and grandkids and all that sort of stuff. And I also like seeing Toph's daughter, just like, again, a continuation of family. Yeah. And I didn't really like Korra, actually. I was like, this girl is just a lot. Literally came in swinging, breaking walls. And I was just like, she's just so abrasive and a lot. And I understood. Both of you told me, like, okay, like, take some time before you watch Korra. It's not Aang's Avatar. Like, take that beat. And I did that, but I just found Korra to be very irritable. Actually, the whole entire time, I probably put her as like my least favorite. Oh my God. For like all 4 seasons. It's just that in different ways, she's unbearable to me. Go ahead, Marcus.
Again, we will not take too kindly to this Korra slander, all right?
I'm sorry.
She's supposed to be that because Aang was the total opposite.
I understand. I watched all the episodes. I made it.
Watch them again.
I was yelling at her the whole time. I was like, oh, God, Korra.
Okay, so, all right. Well, if that's what you're saying, then that's fine. I yell at her all the time. I'm like, you idiot.
That's her charm.
I know, like, wait till we get to book 2. Oh my God.
Well, we're getting to book 2 right now.
Oh, perfect. So boom, she's an idiot. Okay. Yeah, it's obvious that her uncle was the bad guy, and she's over here. He's gonna teach me how to speak. No, he's an idiot. No, idiot. Stay away from him. Yeah. Like, but.
That was a very bothersome thing, too. It's like, she was just so naive all the time. Yeah. And it's like, everyone's constantly lying to you, and you get upset that you've been lied to, and your feelings hurt, and then you just do it all over again. Yeah. I was like, I can't. Like, someone just shake her.
So I always wondered, like, if that was, I guess, because she was raised with the White Lotus, and she didn't get to, like, go out in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all the other avatars was like face palming every time she did something, like, oh you idiot.
Yeah. No, I feel like that was one of the things I bumped on with, like, when I first started watching Korra, where it was like, oh, like, suddenly, like, the Avatar has become like a weird, like, science experiment where it was like she's raised in a lab. You know, where I was just like, oh, like, what happened to all of like my like feral avatars in the wild? And then you have like this like test tube one, and she's like so naive to the world, and they're like, yeah, but you're not ready, and it's like that, like literally every single past one has shown us like that that's not a big deal, like. So it was like that weird, like, I feel like it was almost like the parenting argument of like the helicopter parent versus like the latchkey kids kind of thing. And it's like both of those are like, you know, there's everything's probably like a mix of the two. Like, but
to be honest, I prefer my avatars not ready. Because the one that was ready was Roku, and look what he did. he screwed up the earth. I prefer them not to be ready. I seen this. It's 100% completion over here, baby.
Yeah.
So what were some of y'all favorite parts?
I think we can all just say the Avatar One episodes, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
They were just so beautiful. Like just amazing.
I get emotional. Like
I started when I first saw it, I was kind of upset. I was like, what is this? And then I was like, okay, no, let me sit down and really pay. I was like, oh wait, they're doing the very first. And I was like giddy. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm all for it.
I love those so much.
It was so good.
Yeah.
The kangaroo or whatever he was that was like Sun and Wan and was like, no, you can't come sit with us. I love him.
I know.
I was like, I love you.
Yeah.
It's so rude.
Also favorite. Tenzin not being able to go into the spirit world, loved it.
Oh my God.
So bad for him.
I felt bad, but I loved it because Boomy and Kaya was there to like joke on him every time he failed. Yeah. And they all like it was great.
Yeah.
I liked Robin. I honestly liked the ties from the past avatars being cut.
Yeah.
I like that because I was like, if you're not going to use Aang the way they used Roku, I was like, I'd rather her just be out here on her own. And she's going to be naive. Let her be like fully out here with no backup, no nothing. Let her just be out here, which kind of in the long run made me think that Korra's a better avatar than Aang in a sense because she had more life lessons. She had to grow and do more things without having the safety net of like talking to other avatars. It literally was just her dealing with like these massive changes in the world without any help. And it was literally just like, okay, what should I do? I'll talk to Tenzin. I'll talk to this person. Cool. I'm gonna leave the spirit world open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really like that too. I feel like I like that the connection got severed too, because I feel like I kept getting frustrated at her this whole show because I felt like there were times where I was like, she shouldn't be like losing this fight or like she shouldn't be this weak. And I would be like, oh, like she feels like she's like a weaker avatar than Aang, but like that doesn't make sense. And I understand it's like that issue with like the power crawl. I feel like it almost got like too high that just like, of course she should win every single fight, but then that's not good television. So then she kept having to lose things that she should have won. So then like severing that like means that she had to like kind of start over. So it felt like more realistic that she would have to struggle more. Cause it was just like, once she could unlock the avatar state and like at the start of season 2, it's just like, that should be like every fight should be game over.
Yeah.
And I get mad. Cause then I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, like she's such like a bad avatar. And it's just like, no, like she's literally like she's starting over. Like I don't know, like pay attention. Like it's not, if she is, it's not her fault and she's not. Like, yeah.
Like I was telling my friends, it's the equivalent of you having a Charizard and then like starting all the way back over with a Charmander. Like, you're not going to be able to fly. You're not going to, no, that's flamethrower is gone. You stay out the ring, kid.
Yeah, you put it a lot better than I did.
My least favorite moment, I didn't like how they made Aang a Goku level father. I keep referencing Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry.
Yes, you are.
Okay, listen, I just hate that he went into the anime trope of being a bad father. I did not like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't go from this whole, like, this loving, caring person to now he has 3 kids and he only shows a favorite to the Airbender. That doesn't make sense. And I don't think Katara would let that happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jen. What's happening?
I was gonna say, like, not to. He's talking about Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, that's why I had to stop watching Boruto, which is the sequel to Naruto, because it was like the same shit. Like,
that's what I started to say first, but I was like, nah, everybody watches Boruto, so let me stick with something everyone that all the listeners may know. Everybody knows Goku's a trash father, so I'm gonna stick with Goku.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like the thing I disliked the most about book 2 was it felt like I don't usually mind like all of the like there's usually not a lot, but like the relationship drama in season 2 and
oh my gosh,
was like so kind of ridiculous. And like I've never watched these shows or really any show for like the shipping or like the romance side, and like I don't care when it's there. And like with Avatar, like with Aang's story, it was very much like it was there, but it like wasn't a plot point really too much. Like it wasn't a couple like peak moments like the Guru thing. But this one, you were just constantly oscillating between the world ending, like this massive, like global phenomenon, and then like this love triangle, and like amnesia happens at one point in the story, and I just was like, I am too old for this. Like, what are we doing? All of this out. And I get like the teasers, but like, come on.
Go ahead, Marcus.
The amnesia episode. See, like season 2 for me is the weakest season of Korra for me. Outside of the Avatar bond being severed, it is the weakest season.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I will skip season 2. I'll watch the Wan episodes, and then I will literally just skip the rest of season 2.
That just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it's so frustrating. And then I like even just all the other subplots. Like the only subplot that made sense was like Asami trying to get her company back up. But,
okay.
And like, well, no, because it's like, I mean, the Mako detective thing was fine, and Bolin, the whole movie thing, like those things were annoying, but like they paid off later, and like it was fine. But it was just like all this stupid relationship stuff. I'm like, we don't watch these shows for that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like watch like this magical world thing for like this like CW stuff. Like,
were you about to say something, Marcus?
I was about to say, to piggyback off of Jen, I feel like Avatar Airbender, the relationships were more natural. Like we were watching, and next thing you know, you kind of wanted Aang to end up with Katara. It just happened naturally, like because there would just be subtle moments of him just staring at her, not really saying anything, and then it culminated at the end with the kiss. Korra from jump, they was like, you see the characters and how Mako was acting out. You could see, okay, they're gonna try to force her with Mako. Okay, now she's gonna be like, it was just certain things where it was just like, I really don't, like you said, I really didn't care about this. Could we please get back to the fighting?
We're pretty unanimous on book 2. So moving on to book 3, Change. What was some of your favorite and least favorite moments?
I say Marcus looks excited.
Yeah.
No. I'll wait. I can wait.
Oh, I mean,
this is my home stretch. 3 and 4 is my. This is it for me.
Yeah, I did like 3 and 4 a lot more. For me, it's like a both thing where I loved the Red Lotus, like the villain group, but like I wanted more time with them. Like I feel like everything I learned about them was literally like on like the Wikipedia page. Like I learned like through like auxiliary information, like more so than I did on the show. Where it's like, I feel like that's like, I don't even like know their names, like except for Zahir, unless I look them up.
Matters.
Right.
You just like,
the only one that matters.
Yeah. But it was like, they were so cool. And then like, I was interested in like their logic and like ideology more than how we spent time with them. So it was like, I loved them and I thought they were cool villains, but I thought they were really underutilized. And then like Jinora, like I love Jinora.
I love Jinora. Just before you go, Marcus, I had like technically I did not like the Red Lotus, but for the same reasons as you, I found them to be very interesting villains. I'm saying I didn't like them because they're the bad guys, not,
Okay. Listen, Monique, I know where you live. I'd have gotten a car.
But yeah, all the same things that you said, Jen, that it was just very interesting to think that there could be other color Lotus things or groups or whatever, secret societies, and just I feel like Marcus talks about Thanos a lot saying like Thanos was right. And that's exactly what I was feeling watching Zahir with the Red Lotus. I was like, it's really about the execution. Yeah. Like, I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
But I just wish you could go about it a different way.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Jen. I didn't read anything about them because I just didn't think of it. But they are very interesting, a group or whatever. But go ahead, Marcus.
First and foremost, hashtag Children of Thanos. He was right. There was whales in the Hudson River. Think about it, people. He was right. Would have been no coronavirus if Thanos had his way.
Oh my
God. But book 3, first and foremost, Iroh. Seeing Iroh in the spirit world, I was like, yes. And that was so cool to me that he was able to keep his body because he was like that. He was like, yeah, I'm just here. They let me keep my body. I just came straight here. I was like, that's a thing? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Cool. It was that. And if I'm correct, this is when the season when Jinora got lost in the fog, right?
Yeah.
I love seeing General Zhao still stuck in there lost. I love that. I actually like that Tenzin kind of finally got to a point of like knowing that he's not going to be Aang. That Aang pulled up on him and was like, you're not going to be me. Please stop trying to be me.
Yeah.
I love that for him because I feel like after that moment, I feel like Tenzin's character arc pretty much closed. That was like the culmination of him becoming like a whole character.
Yeah.
Zahir, like what more can we say? Like he's tied for the best villain in this whole series. The way he killed the Earth Queen.
Oh yeah.
Loved it.
So
loved it. I was like, oh, we are murdering people now. This is amazing. Yes, I love you, Nickelodeon. Thank you. That I love the Red Lotus. And like how everyone said, pretty much it was like I understood what they were trying to do. They went too far, but I understood it. And Bolin learning lava bending, I like that. I like how it was like, we're pretty much gonna die if I don't do this. And he just was like, oh, I can do this. This is great. And
he was struggling to learn metal bending. Meanwhile, he just had another skill he didn't even know.
That Tenzin's fight was a hair I loved. Like that was like an airbending fight we hadn't gotten in so long.
Yeah.
Him learning how to fly. I told you, I'm sorry, I had a lot.
No, go for it.
Him learning how to fly. And this was like the one time, like how Jim was saying, there's moments where Korra felt like it feels like she should win these fights. But like when she fought Zahir with the chains and everything, this is the one time I was like, oh no, Korra's like a powerhouse. Because she should be dying, and she still has enough to throw energy to throw hands, fly, and spit all of these different things while still dying at the same time. I was like, priorities. I love this. Die later when you're done. And I like that she finished. I like that it ended with her in the wheelchair. Like it wasn't just some happy ending right afterwards.
Right.
Yeah. I was like thinking more. Oh no, you finished.
Oh yeah, he's on his least favorite moments.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait.
I was like, I was like thinking about more stuff too, where I feel like I really liked what you said about like Tenzin's like character arc coming to an end. And I feel like part of the thing that frustrated me about him this season as well was him with all the new airbenders was like him being so pushy with everybody about like adopting his culture and like driving everybody away and like kind of having to calm the hell down. So it was like, that was like interesting to see him like deal with that. And then that also made me think about like Kaya had some really cool fights in this season.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things I always really loved about Korra was like how many older women, like badass older women are in this show. Like, you know, Lin and her sister and Kaya. And even like Tenzin's wife, you know, she doesn't fight or anything, you know, but she's still just like this fun, like assertive presence that's nice. And it's just like refreshing to see that in like animated shows and like action shows too.
That's true.
That was like, especially this season, like seeing so many different types of people come together. But
Monique?
you were going to say dislikes.
No, back to you, Marcus. I'm waiting for the least favorite moments or something.
Did you tell your favorite moment, Chet?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was actually the whole harmonic convergence stuff. Were they battling in this season? Batu?
Yeah.
That was the season before?
2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think I made this note saying that how more people were just becoming airbenders, so that the pressure wasn't just on Tenzin's family to be like, the saviors of it. Just loving Janora. I just really, really loved her. I want more of her. I don't know. That's it. That was my favorite moments. The Red Lotus. I said I didn't like them, but I respect them, I guess. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, least favorite. I didn't like Sue Beifong. I didn't like the fact that they not Sue. I didn't like Sue. I didn't like the fact that they let Lynn lose to Sue. I was just very upset about that because I'm Team Lynn. I was like, no, you're not gonna lose to Sue. Not like this. Not like this.
Mm.
But that was the only like negative for me right there.
Mm.
What did you think about their dynamic, Jen?
I really liked it. I really liked that Sue was like a kid with like a not great background in terms of like the like people she hung out with and stuff like that. But like she was still able to like that didn't impact her like success as an adult, and like to show that like she could change. And I feel like so much of their fighting was like them not being able to recognize, like to be like sisters as adults. And I feel like that's like a super real thing that I struggle with, like for me with like my sibling, and then also even just like with my parents and like them having to like parent an adult, where it's just like I appreciated that the like nuance in that relationship and like the difficulty in that. And I feel like Korra in general, like again, like we were talking about like the Red Lotus, and like talking like like they're anarchists and like what's it like Kuvira's a fascist, and the uncle is like a religious zealot, and like Amon had his ideology, and it's like in general like Korra was like just a really cool like step up with like the depth and nuance for like all of us who like were older, like grew up with Aang, and then like we're ready for Korra. So it's just like cool to see all of that, those dynamics played out, which is why like when it has like that, the dumb like love triangles and stuff, I'm like that much harsher because I'm just like, we're better than this. Like,
yeah. Now you just sparked me in like Toph, and I guess the revelation that she really kind of didn't want to be a mother. Yeah. It just happened kind of, and she just like did her best.
I love that.
Like it happened twice. Yes, it happened twice.
Two different guys. So the first one, she was like, "Oh, Mulligan, it won't happen again."
Yeah, but it's like, thank you. What happened?
I love that happened. That she has like just like, oop, happened again. Had another kid. Like,
yeah, I just think that's an interesting thing to also just put in the show. Just like a parent just being like, I didn't really want this, but I try to do my best, and like. I know whatever. And yeah, like kind of like what you're saying, like how to be siblings as adults and how to be like an adult trying to like work through that parent dynamic or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like your parents weren't great parents and like trying to forgive them for being awful because they're human or whatever. That was an interesting angle you just made me just think of. Mm. Marcus, were you finished? Because we're about to go to book 4.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, I know you said you had a lot. I just want to make sure we get to everything.
Honestly, while you were talking, I thought about another one. We got to see old Zuko. I love seeing old man Zuko.
Yeah.
Especially like when he made the jokes where he was like, "Oh, I knew someone that used to explode stuff with their mom. Sent them to kill an avatar." And then Korra's dad just looked at him like, "Bro, what?"
Yep. So, book 4 is about balance, favorite and least favorite moment. I'll just start. I wasn't really a fan of Kuvira's robot. I personally, despite this whole thing being called like simple robotics, I just get like over, sometimes I get like over robots and mechs and stuff like that, and I don't know if it's just like, I need a new way for it to be presented to me. And what happened, Marcus?
No, I'm just making sure. You said you didn't like it or liked it?
I mean, I'm just kind of like over it. Like, I get it.
Okay,
like, it
so
was
never mind.
intense. Okay, but I'm just like, no, I want a new way to digest robots or something, Mm-hmm. So, and as annoying as Katara was, I just didn't like her being so like kind of getting beat up all the time and just like Yeah, she kept like going for Kavira and losing, and just like I was like, oh man, come on,
Yeah,
like whatever.
no,
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agreed that I felt like I wouldn't have thought that a franchise like this would have ended with a giant robot fight.
Exactly. Like had everything from the other books. Like it's a robot.
Yeah, like I felt like it didn't completely come out of nowhere. So it's less like that I was just like the hell so much as I was just like, yeah, like, oh, like couldn't we have come up with something that I haven't seen in a lot of stuff? Again, especially like it's like you brought a gun to like a wand, like a wizard duel or something, where it's like, I get it. Like, yeah, you could do that, but like, is that really what people would want to see?
Well, they put magic like in the robot. That's like what happened.
Yeah, then they had the spirit vine power. Yeah, it like went a little bit off the rails for me, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like it had ended. I felt like too when like the final battle ended, I felt like the show ended really abruptly after that, where like I did want to spend more time with these characters, knowing it was like the end of the show and probably like the whole like franchise as far as TV goes. But like, yeah, I agree with the giant mech thing. And then obviously like I was disappointed about like Korra and Asami, like their relationship was like very like if you squint really hard, you'll see it kind of in like moments, but also like if you weren't expecting it, it also just was like very like just friends hanging out kind of like it was, it just like happened at the end. And then like Bright confirmed that it was canon that they were together. So I just felt bad for like LGBTQ people who were like wanting another thing. And then it was just like, like it's kind of like blink and you miss it kind of thing, which I feel like happens a lot.
I want to say that was also annoying for me because I knew that it had that undertone somewhere. I'm watching the whole show, like waiting for like the gay moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is it?
Yeah.
And at the end, I was like, really? They go into like, I don't know, a rainbow portal? Like, that's it?
Bro, I didn't know that they were a couple until I want to say a few years later when I stumbled onto an article because I literally thought, oh, they're friends. They're going into. I said, wait, they're dating? I did not know. So then I had to go back. I'm trying, like everyone else, when it came on Netflix, I'm watching it over, trying to see it. I'm like, there's nothing here outside of her sending her letters when she was crippled. And I was like, even that's kind of a reach because Bolin sent her letters. That means she's going to date Bolin.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that too. I felt like also like the way that relationships were like so interchangeable this whole show that like to then have this one be the one it ends on. Like I want to believe that it's going to be like stable and they'll be fine. But I'm also just like nothing about the show has implied that any of them know how to maintain a healthy relationship. That I have any faith in them as a couple, which is shitty. Going back to another thing I liked was I did like I think Marcus mentioned it earlier that it didn't have like a happy ending in the previous season, so it's like I really liked that like they didn't downplay the trauma that she experienced with the Red Lotus and like the mental like the PTSD that she eventually had this whole season and how it affected her, and like I guess like that there's like a poetic justice to that too, where it's like again she was like a depowered avatar in that all her past selves were severed and like she had this trauma and she had like this residual poison, so it makes sense that the final battle was this whole big team thing and it wasn't this like one-on-one, like it still kind of was, but you know what I mean, but that it was like all these different characters having to help her, and like it's more realistic in real life because it's not like it's less about the individual and more about like the bigger picture and the systems and the community. So it's like I like that. Like she finally like stopped putting on a tough face and like everyone helped her.
Your turn, Marcus.
Oh, we all agreed on the least favorite. When I saw the robot, I was like, "You've got to be excuse my language. You've got to be shitting me."
Yeah.
Like I was like, y'all just had a fist fight 3 episodes prior, and the final fight is going to be a robot. I was like, all right, cool, sure. Is someone going to die at least? Oh, Asami's dad didn't even know he was still a person. Cool. That's what you killed off. All right, great. That's fine. Yeah. Like I was honestly, part of me wanted Mako to die. Like I wanted to have like some real weight to it. So it'd been like, you're not gonna. First of all, we don't even know what time period this is. It's supposed to be like the 1920s, and there's a giant robot. No, someone has to die. Like, I feel like a real character has to, like, no, someone has to, like, no. But other than that, like, I liked Kuvera. I think she was the best. Me personally, is between, like I said, it's between Zahir and her as the best villains, because I pick her as the best sometimes because I'm like, she's the total opposite of Korra, or she was what Korra was like in the start of the series, kind of like, this is what I'm gonna do, my one track mind. I'm not thinking about the ramifications of everything else. So I like to see, like, it showed the growth of her, like, especially when they fought and they ended up in the spirit world. And she was like, nah, I can't fight you. Like, you're me. I see what you're doing. Like, no, like, we have to change. I love that because I was like, oh, she's finally grown. She's like a mature avatar now. Granted, it took her to become like over 20 to get to this point, but like, I really love that. I liked, I can't remember his name, but I know everyone knows Julie.
Okay.
I love
Barrick, right? No, not
Barrick. Yeah, I love the fact that Barrick finally started to respect and love Julie for what she was. I love that Julie had her moment of like saving the world and all of that stuff. I'm kind of happy they got married.
Yeah, that was nice. I thought you were going to say Prince Wu, and I was just like, I had so many mixed feelings about Prince Wu.
Oh my gosh.
The first time I watched it, I hated Prince Wu. When I watched it over the summer, he was hilarious to me. The Wu down thing, I was like, yo, because every time he would do something, they would show Mako's face, and I was like, we all know someone who's that annoying that when they talk, you just be like, I love Toph being there and her being like the final gatekeeper to Korra getting her power, like her full powers back.
Yeah,
just love that dynamic. And that was pretty much it, like, for me.
All right. Well, I mean, that was fun. And we're going to have some more fun. Jen, I hope you did this. We're going to do One's Gotta Go.
One's Gotta Go. I have some.
Okay, great. So actually, we're starting with you. So we're going to do 2 per person.
Okay.
You first, Jen.
Oh, man, I have 3. Let me think. Okay, One's Gotta Go. Strange background characters that you can't help but love. Cabbage Man, Foaming Mouth Guy, the Swamp Benders, and the musical hippies.
The only ones I remember are the swamp people. Who's the cabbage guy?
My cabbages.
Okay, go through who's everybody else.
Well, the cabbage guy is like, he always gets sabotaged by the gang. Foaming Mouth Guy, he's just like a recurring gag in a few of the episodes where it's like whenever Aang shows up, like they kind of fangirl so hard that like they kind of the swampy the swamp guys, and then the musical, the secret tunnel, the hippies with the flowers in their hair singing.
Oh, I still think I'll get rid of the swamp people. I don't really like them. That's the only ones I remembered, but I didn't really like them. I thought it was cool that they were waterbending the swamp stuff, the vines or whatever. Yeah. But it was also kind of gross.
The hippies are out of here. Yours? The hippies are going. As soon as she said the hippies, I said the hippies. As soon as she said it, I didn't even need to hear the rest of it. The hippies.
Oh, rude.
What's your choices, Marcus? What's your One's Gotta Go?
So mine was One's Gotta Go. Aang, Katara. I was going straight for the jugular. Korra, Bolin. One's Gotta Go.
Aang, Katara, Korra, and Bolin.
Yes.
Bolin, sorry.
Yeah, I would say Bolin too. Even though he could lava bend, I'm like,
I love Bolin though. He's such a sweet character, and he's like so considerate and everything. And I feel like he just gets like overlooked, and it makes me sad. So I'm sad that I'm kicking him out. So
it's between him and Korra for me. It's probably just like depends on the day, because Korra is very annoying to me.
Even old adult Korra, like 20.
Yeah, I mean, she was annoying for like 3 seasons.
Okay, well, we got it together in the 4th.
Bolin didn't annoy me the same way, but I just feel like he can go.
I feel like he annoyed me more, but I also still liked him, so I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we have some similar selections here. I have Bolin, Mako, Katara, and Toph. So I almost want to remove. You said Mako?
Mako.
No.
Oh, damn.
Why? The most.
No, I don't listen. There's only room in my heart for one angsty person, and that's Zuko, okay?
Oh,
I don't need no one else.
Y'all are so funny.
Honestly, so many of Mako's problems would have gone away if he just had conversations.
Yes.
I understand that they're teenagers and that's like a hard life lesson, but despite all of the very internal interpersonal relationships and then all of the crazy stuff that was happening to him as a detective, it's just like, what part of you hasn't learned that communication is key here?
And he was actually, for the most part, surrounded by communicators. Yeah. It just was, for the most part.
And then he never grew into it.
Yeah. He did stay the same person from the season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jen, what's your next batch?
All right. Avatars. Roku, Kyoshi, Wan, and Aang.
Roku.
Oh.
So fast.
Yeah, I guess so, because I like Kyoshi.
That'd be mine,
I like
too.
that Kyoshi's ready to kill in a minute's notice. Roku could have stopped a lot of stuff if he just killed his friend or locked him up. Anything.
You literally had to just throw the ring into Mordor and we'd be home.
How about you, Marcus? What's your next one?
All right, so all mine are side characters. So I have one gotta go. Ty Lee, Mai, Suki. I think her name is Suki.
Yeah.
Or I know how y'all feel about Jet, so I had Jet on it. I'm trying to think. Appa.
Wait, who's Suki?
Suki was the Kyoshi warrior that Sokka gets together with.
Oh, right. Oh, you could have done the what's the waterbender girl with the white hair?
Oh, Yue, yeah.
The princess, the fish? Yeah, we can put her in there.
Guys, partway through anyway, so
I don't know.
The fish?
I don't know.
I mean, for me, I picked Ty Lee because I like her, but I'm whatever.
Yeah, I like May.
I could put Azula in there.
I don't like Azula.
Yeah, I would say Azula scares me.
She's too crazy.
I love her as a character for sure, but
she's just too unhinged.
I love the Azula. I kind of wanted her to win against Katara.
No, absolutely not. Who? Well, I think. No, I liked Suki too. She was a real one. Yeah, I'm gonna say the fish princess girl then, because I like Ty Lee, even though I don't like the chi blockers. They are very annoying people.
Yeah,
they are. Ty Lee knocked Azula out and said, "Come on, Mai, we gotta run."
Mine, it's just 3 people. It's Amon, Unalaq, and Kuvira. But you guys kind of answered. No, Unalaq. I don't know. Unalaq?
Yeah.
Unalaq.
Instead of Amon?
I liked Amon.
I liked Amon too. He was a fraud, but I understood his cause. Absolutely.
Again, it's one of those things where it's you went this is the line, you over here, you're too high up. Come back down here. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, unless you guys had more, but that was
one more.
Okay, yeah, go.
Okay. Turtle duck, wolf bat, Shershu, koala seal.
What is this? The teams?
No, these are just cute hybrid animals.
Oh, the turtle duck. What?
Wolf bat.
Okay.
Wolf bat.
Shershu. Oh, we like the wolf bat. Shershu was an anteater with the tongue. Koala seal.
Not getting rid of the seal or the duck. I love the duck.
I think the bat, because I'm not a fan of bats in general. I cannot remember who anything is.
Yeah, it was a wolf with bat wings, and they were a little cringe looking, but I like them.
That's so funny. Oh, how about in the animals? Appa versus the polar bear dog thing.
Oh, the dog is out of here.
It's no contact.
The dog is gone.
I was like, why doesn't she have an Appa? And then I was like, oh yeah, she's like a waterbender.
She
So the
could have
polar
had
bear
an Appa.
I mean, they had it on the compound. They could have.
Throw her.
Yeah.
It was on the compound. They could have just brought her in. Hey, this is your pet.
Yeah.
Put that weird dog thing back.
Yes.
She needed something that flew.
Yeah.
Marcus, did you have another one by any chance, or were you just do two?
I only had the two.
So we are getting close to the end. Sad. Which character or characters are you most like and why?
This like stumped me.
I kind of wanted to say maybe Bolin because I feel like I like to laugh and people don't take me serious when I say these things, when I say certain things. I was like, I can see that. I can see.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, maybe if it's a mashup of two characters, would that help or something, Jen?
I feel like part of me is like Korra because I am known for being like abrasive and like headstrong, but also
that's true too.
Like she also just has like a crap load of like raw talent, and I'm just like that sounds a little like not quite me. But I'm just like I guess like kind of Korra, even though like I also agree that I'm just like but I also like want to have more character development than Korra.
For me, I would say probably Katara. Yeah, because I can be the whole like motherly thing and probably overwhelming, jealous.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the right intentions. You know, my heart's in the right place. No? Are you shaking your head?
shaking my head because I'm like, yeah, that's probably on the head.
Katara.
Yeah. I want to be Katara.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
That's it. It's like who do you actually like? Who do you think you are, and versus who you actually are?
Listen.
Okay, who do you wish you were? I feel like you're gonna say Zuko.
No, I want to be Aang.
Not you. Marcus would say Zuko. Yeah. Who you say, Jen?
I would want to be Aang.
Okay.
I would want to be Zuko or Azula, to be real with you. Being crazy is fun. I can just shoot people with lightning and no one will say anything to me because they were afraid of me. I would love that.
Yeah, you're reckless.
Girl, oh my! You couldn't. Here's a real question: if you had to pick an element, which element would you pick?
I mean, again, I wish I was air, but I know I am fire.
Interesting. I would be a toss-up between air and water.
I'm between, honestly, I would probably want water because I feel like water does a lot. I'd probably get fire or air and be pissed. If I had air, I'd be pissed. If I had fire, I'd be like, all right, this is cool. Yeah. I can heat my food up, but air, I'd be pissed off.
I like how they were rolling around on their like air balls thingies, stuff like that. I would be
riding that to work and be like, oh my God, I fucking hate this. Oh my
God. So the last one is just if you guys have any like hot takes. I know one thing Marcus said was that to a certain extent he feels Korra is a better avatar than Aang. But were there any others, any hills that you're willing to die on?
This one
was hard for me. Marcus, what are you going to say?
No, I was saying that's my one true hill to die on. I've been arguing people for the past few months. Korra had, not only is Korra a better avatar, she had a harder journey than Aang did.
Yeah.
Definitely had a harder journey.
Some people don't agree. I was like, oh, okay, I guess Aang had to, I have to stop the Fire Lord. Korra had, I have to stop all these people. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have like one kind of continuous villain type of thing. It was really like, can I catch a break? Like,
yeah.
And I might be kind of now joining the Zutara ship.
Okay.
I might be on that wave now. I'm not 100% on there, but the more I've been watching, I was like, I can see this. There's a connection here.
So tell us more.
It's just one of those things. It's like with most anime, like if you watch Naruto, you might want Naruto to end up with Sakura because they're like the total opposites, and you can see them having fun together, but you know it doesn't make sense because they would kill each other. So it's just that same dynamic that I fall into all the time. I always want the wrong people to be together when I know the right person is right there.
But it did seem like it could have been a possibility when they were like in the cave and stuff like that, and it was like, there's something here, you know.
I also thought Aang was a monk and they couldn't have kids and stuff like that, so you know that played a part too.
Who was gonna hold him accountable to that? It was just him.
Who was holding him accountable to most of this shit? Who's gonna hold him accountable for killing people?
Yeah, this is true too.
True. Yeah. Sometimes I wish he had loosened up a little bit because it's like, bro, it's like you feel like you have to have kids because like you have to repopulate. And then even like they like couldn't stop until they finally had an Airbender kid too. Let's be real. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like, there are no rules. Like, you make the rules. It's your culture now. Like, it's like harsh as that is. I feel
not
like,
only is it, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to change the topic, so you keep going.
No, I was going to say, not only is it his culture, he's pretty much like God in that universe.
Yeah.
Like, you make your own rules. What are you doing?
Oh, man. I feel like if we listen, I feel like I had hot takes in this that I wasn't expecting to have, but I feel like I don't have any, like, really spicy ones where it's just like, I agreed with what Marcus said. Like, I like that Korra broke the Avatar cycle. It makes me sad, and like when it first happened I was like so mad and I hated it and I was like they have to fix it, and I was just like as older I got I'm just like no, like it's fine, like let it go. I did feel like Korra was like in this show, like I felt like she was treated as a weaker Avatar. And I understood why, but I didn't think it was fair because again, I felt like the fan perception versus like the actual like context of why that was so like overlooked. So like that annoyed me. That there was no like acknowledgement that it was like, well, yeah, this makes sense. Like your Avatar state, like it's just you. There's not all these other people there. And like, you also have gone through like, yeah, like villain after villain with like no break or anything. I think what else. I was mad that Sokka we didn't see him at all in like the future, not even in flashbacks or anything. Like
yeah,
not even like, one flashback. But I was just like, did he have kids? Like, are there other cousins? Like, what happened? He didn't have to have kids, but I was just like, did he?
Yeah.
I don't know. And like, I felt like as much as I guess like the hottest take that I have is that I felt like Suki and Yue were both like really, really severely underdeveloped. And the only reason people would fight me on that is because I think fandom has done such like a good job of like celebrating those characters. But I feel like in general, like they get like a few really like badass moments. Well, Suki does. And then Yue has like her entire arc is just like her in relation to Sokka and then like the sacrifice.
Right.
So I feel like fandom has like the fandom has like come in and like elevated them, which they deserved. But I feel like in terms of the show, they weren't served super well.
I guess I will say then just like maybe some final thoughts or final words or I don't know, parting stuff. Go ahead, Marcus. Do you want to say something first?
I was going to say, I think I have a hot take. I think Avatar walked so Steven Universe could run.
Okay. Please continue.
Fair.
I'm just saying.
I didn't finish Steven Universe, so I don't know where we're going.
I say that in a sense because, like we said in the beginning, it was like the first time you kind of got a semi-American type of anime, and it was a lot of some of the things. Granted, it's not like Steven Universe is some super magical thing too, but like just certain elements of like a continuous storyline of like this overarching theme that was the whole Steven Universe thing, and then with the continuation with the trauma, it was like just like Steven Universe was like the last Airbender, and then Future was like their Korra, where now it's like, oh, we're dealing with more adult things. Steven had trauma that he dealt with. Where we see that before in a cartoon. Mm-hmm. That's my thought. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought. That's how I felt.
No, I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that the shows, I mean, if even just like the shows that influenced us now, it's like the people, you know, like a lot of the showrunners now are people that are our age.
Right, that's true.
Who were influenced by the same things as us. And I feel like even just now that Avatar, it almost set a record for Netflix, like how many weeks it was on the top 10, and people, there were all these think pieces that it was like, this like 15-year-old cartoon is like, what is this? Why is this here? And it's just like, it's been really nice to see this like resurgence and to be like, hey, like this kind of storytelling, like people like this and they want to see it. So it's like, there should be more Steven universes that were inspired by it. And so like, yeah, I hope that like pays out down the road.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. We definitely need more of that. I think that's it. That was just like, I feel so fulfilled. I've been wanting to do this episode for so long, and I'm happy we were all able to come together. If you both would tell people, like, because both of you are podcast hosts, so the name of the podcast, how people can listen, and I think that's it. Or a little bit about your podcast too, actually.
Marcus, want to go first? No, you go first. I feel like okay, fine. Well, I have my podcast is called Pod Sing Say, which is a play on Ba Sing Se from Avatar. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast. I know. I wasn't sure if the name would be good, but everyone like their faces light up when they hear it. If you want to
what's funny is I actually replaced what their original name is.
Yeah.
So I don't say Ba Sing Se. I'm always saying Pod Sing Se, and it's like, no, that's not it.
The brand is working.
Yeah.
So honestly, the name alone, I went straight to iTunes and say, "Yep, yep, y'all got my service."
Yeah. So yeah, Pod Sing Say. It's a weekly podcast. It's a rewatch. So it's me and 3 of my friends from college, and yeah, every episode. It's pretty standard. We rewatch an episode and then we just talk about it for way too long. We only just started book 2 of the original series, so there's not a whole lot there to catch up on, but we do plan on getting through it all.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you can find me personally on animationcomplex.com. I blog there occasionally about not just Avatar, mostly just animation stuff. So it's like those are my 2 little things.
Hard act to follow. That's a great name. I'm just looking at the episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, I got something to do today. So personally, you can find me at on Instagram, Everybody Hates Marcus, Twitter, blame_Marcus. Thanks, Monique, for the name and and I am 1/4 of a podcast called Enter the Minds, where it's me and 3 of my friends, and we talk about coming of age in this time as men in this generation with all of the crazy things going on in the world. We're currently on an unscheduled break because life has been kicking our ass, but we're on all of the streaming platforms. It's Enter the Minds, ENTHA Minds, MINDS. And yeah.
Wasn't that just like such a good conversation, like good vibes, good everything. I would like to thank Jen and Marcus again for joining me on this episode. The upcoming episodes, what is next? I'm not too sure what's next. I've like hardcore planning out, trying to figure out what my not release schedule is, but like the order of recordings, because I'm pre-recording a whole bunch of stuff, and I would like it to be like me, solo episode, then episode with a guest, then solo episode with a guest. But I'm also trying to not have it be too much of the same, at least type of guest to a certain extent. Like I've been having a lot of guys, so I'm trying to have more women. So I'm just, recording with people based on their availability. So it's like I have episodes recorded, but I don't know which order they're going to be released. But all that aside, y'all didn't ask for all of that. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics. Use the hashtag SimplyRoboticsPod when listening to the show. That way, I can check in and I can retweet you and all sorts of stuff like that, or reshare. And thank you for supporting. I really, really appreciate it, and looking forward to like all the stuff that's coming out this year. Take care. Bye.